Hey everyone, I'm back. All right, let's get into the NBA, specifically the NBA playoffs. Always the first round. Some games are games are more entertaining than others. I think one of the more entertaining ones really is the Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers, just because it obviously looks like the Sixers are going to win it, but that the Nets have made it somewhat competitive, and it shows that the Nets are really, I think, on the rise. If they get a better player, I think high tier player in this NBA offseason, I really think they can become a contender. And I think also if they learn from this and realize the mistakes that they made and things that they could get better at, I really do think that this could be a better team. And this could be something that will be worked on, and they could just take all this stuff moving forward and have more success. But one of the more interesting series, I think, is going to be obviously other than the Warriors, it looks like they're going to make it back to the finals, but will be what's going to happen if Portland wins against the Thunder. If Portland wins the series, what does that mean for the Thunder? Like they've had success, with Kevin Durant. Now that he left, and Russell Westbrook has done a pretty good job with all the triple doubles he's done in the regular season, and it looks like Paul George for the whole season has been MVP caliber player. But I don't know why it's not translating to the playoffs. They're losing. They're gonna get bounced out most likely because Portland Blazers are up 3-1. I mean, yeah, it could still happen that they could come back. I'm not saying it's 100% done, but it's a strong, strong possibility that they will not make it. OKC, and what does that mean for Russell Westbrook, who signed a significant contract? Paul George, who's going to be there for more than a couple of years. What do they have to add? How would they have to make this better? I think it was good that Russell Westbrook gave more of the shots to Paul George, but it seems like when Russell Westbrook's doing things, it's not as crisp or consistent. And Paul George's consistency in the playoffs have not been great either. And I understand there is a real difference between the playoffs and regular season. And it's showing itself a little bit here because as much as the regular season's great, it seems for the playoffs is a totally different animal. You have just more pressure on yourself, a different way of doing things. It just seems it's just a different kind of environment. And I just wonder what will OKC have to do if they get bounced out in the first round? Because they can't keep doing this. You want to have more success. You want to get, at least to the Western Conference second round. You want to really compete here. And it seems like I'm going to say kings of the regular season, but they are very good at making the playoffs. But past that, these last couple of seasons has not been that great. And I know Kevin Durant is phenomenal, and that's a tough play to lose. But Russell Westbrook is not just like some, low level guy. Russell Westbrook is great in itself. And I just don't know why it's translating. That's interesting. I don't know if they have to bring in a new head coach. Do they just have to figure out a new way, a new system for them to work in? Or is it just unfortunately old plain, unluck, no luck there, just unluckiness and just what are the odds kind of thing? Maybe. But some of the other things that are going on in the playoffs that's interesting, with the Milwaukee Bucks moving on, the first time that they've moved on and won a playoff series since 2001, that is really interesting. And I think that with LeBron James not being in the playoffs, first of all, period, LeBron James not being in the playoffs in the West and the East is wide open, and I really, really do think that Milwaukee has a really great chance to making the finals. Now, if they did make the finals, would they compete against the Warriors? Who knows? But I think the Warriors, for themselves, if they face the Rockets eventually, what is going to happen there? Is the Rockets going to beat them? I think the best team that has a chance to beat the Warriors is the Rockets, especially now that they know DeMarcus Cousins is injured. Uh, Sometimes in the playoffs, it seems like Klay Thompson has not been as successful. Things like that are worrisome for any team. But I understand that the Warriors have the best players capable, but it's going to be interesting how they do this thing and how are the Warriors going to look. This might be their last hurrah because a lot of players are going the off season. Klay Thompson, I think if the Warriors would be really silly to play around with that and just negotiate, I think I wouldn't say you match it 100%, but you give him almost everything he wants. Klay Thompson's very good, and I understand the playoffs is a little shaky, But you want to have consistency. And as much as Steph Curry has been great player and that's his team, you need other players around. You can't just have him. And it looks like Kevin Durant's not going to stay there. And I get it. He wants to move on probably. He wants to be his own guy on his own team. Will it be the Knicks? I don't know. I mean, if the Knicks get who they might get in the draft, will that sway him? I don't know how this will work. Or is he even going to leave? I mean, most likely he's going to leave probably, but you don't know for that for sure. I understand that, but it's going to be interesting. It really will be interesting what happens. But that's some of the key highlights of the playoffs, I think. I would say that the East is more interesting now that LeBron James is not there. The whole playoffs itself is interesting. This is the first time LeBron James in a long time has not been in the playoffs. And I think in some ways it's not great that that happened, and the Lakers are unfortunately suffering a little bit because of it. But I do think this is great for LeBron James to get some very needed rest because he's played in who knows how many playoff games plus regular season. That's a lot of work on your body, and he's an older guy. So I could, if you're taking a positive out of LeBron James not being, in the playoffs with the Lakers, I think that's one that he's healthier now. Hopefully, when he comes back, he's gonna have a whole full off season to relax. He's gonna hang out with his family, I'm sure, do his business stuff. So that's one of those things. But the playoffs are going to be interesting moving forward, and who's really going to take it all and who's going to make it to the finals. So, that being said, that's my show for today. I want to thank everyone for listening. If you ever have any questions, you can do so by shooting me on Twitter at Robert Sosa the second one. Some questions, whether it's sports related, maybe you have some questions I can answer on the air. That'd be cool too. But I just want to thank everyone for listening, and until next time.